I want the level of my volume on my phone to get louder. You know what's funny? This is a Tradscape track, and it's kind of lo-fi when you hear it properly, but it almost sounds like perfect when you have it playing out of a phone into a microphone. So I've always done it that way. Another happy accident, as Brian Eno and many other people have called them. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Artist Journal, May 11th, 2023, broadcasting to the world from a sunny, beautiful, almost summer-like day here in Berlin, Germany. Quick show note. My name is Adrian Pocobelli. That is your first quick show note. And quick show note, I'm going away, and I think in about a week. I think May 19th. So in a week and a day, I will be going away. It is my brother's 50th birthday. So he's coming to Munich, and I'm going to go to Munich and take a train there. It's going to be for a week, so I will very likely be gone for about a week. So quick FYI and big thank you to everybody that showed up to the Twitter space yesterday with Santiago. He is a loved person. He is a loved person, sometimes controversial out there on Twitter. He has his detractors, but man, there are a lot of people that love that guy. And anyways, it was an awesome spaces, big turnout, everything. So I uploaded that to Spotify and to YouTube. So that is in the record now. And anyway, I look forward, as I was telling Santiago, we can do it again. If I'm still going in 6 months, which I imagine I will be, do it again. We'll do it again, if not sooner. So anyways, here, let's get to it. The editing is getting, again, I'm chopping stuff left, right, and center. And it's been going well so far. So anyways, check this out. This is what I want to show you. Do you realize what this is? This is Art Matter up close doing Zancan's work. I mean, we talk about texture here, and I'm terrible at managing these GLB files. I think that's what this is, but at least we can do, well, here, you can see the back, and there's even the certificate of authenticity. I don't know how to navigate and to, see that properly, but we can still see this. And you know what else I love? I mean, there's so much to comment on. There's so much to be excited about. But look at what looks like a dry marker. Maybe that's the charcoal. And we'll look at the description because this looks like a multimedia work. Okay, so this is, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm sure everybody has. It's a physical artwork of a Zancan work. And again, let's just get the 3D. And so they are selling this as a token, but it's basically to get the physical. So again, if I'm the contemporary art scene and I'm seeing this, if I'm a gallery and I'm seeing this, I go, I just go, that kind of puts a big question mark on the whole model, and I'm sure people are still going to want to go into galleries, but this, what is their cost? What is the cost for Art Matter to have their physical gallery? They produce the work, but that's a separate thing. Just to display it, I think it's zero. Maybe it costs 20 cents to mint the token. And then it's free to display on Object, where other people will see it who follow, a social media network already set up for NFT and digital art and physical art delivery. So, I mean, finally here, is this another window on the future that we're looking at here? Because it seems to me in many ways, not just the physicality of this digital work, which has all the beauty of a Rauschenberg, right? In terms of the mark making, or pick your great artist, I was going to say Baselitz. I don't know if Baselitz is my favorite artist, but you know what I'm saying? You just pick your favorite artist that makes gorgeous textures. Look at these textures on the white. So anyways, here I've been 5 minutes on this. Let's just see deeper. So again, this is Organic Matter, a series put together by Art Matter. There's Art Matter there. And so Zancan, a journey through art, technology, and nature. Nice combination. The NFT token represents the ownership of the physical artwork and can be confirmed via the NFC chip located within the physical work. This GLB file is a scanned image of the unique physical artwork, including the digital certificate of authenticity incorporated in the token. So that also solves the authenticity issue, and it sounds like it's kind of always there, as like, you know, it's kind of digitally confirmed, we could say. In collaboration with Art Matter and NFT Collective, Zancan uses natural elements such as brushes and charcoal to create essential motifs. So I wonder if this is the brush right here. This very beautiful work here. Is this the brush? And you wonder what the original was. Was the original just like a white, but then you put the right brush on and you get this gorgeous texture? Right, so a real collaboration between art and technology, and we have to be real here when we look at the history of art. Again, like, what is the Renaissance without the innovation of oil painting? What is Impressionism without the innovation of, you know, portable tubed paints? Right? So, you know, technology and art, you know, I think it's undeniable, but shall we speculate and throw out a theory here, are deeply intertwined. Look at screen printing, you know, the use of acrylic paint in the 60s and pop artists, right? I mean, we see it over and over and over again. Look at digital art now. So here, I mean, what's so interesting is we're coming from, you know, we started with physical back in, say, the 60s, 70s, and before, and all the way before. Then we've shifted over somewhat to where you have digital artists, but now it's coming back into the physical. And what's so interesting for me is this mark making that's made by this technology and by these mediums. There's a real just kind of purity about it. You know, so I'm kind of back to Art Matter here. I mean, it's just, here's another one. Let's just zoom in here. Again, you see the same beautiful thing. So maybe that's just like a white charcoal. It's totally possible here. But, you know, again, it's just something to marvel at here. And I can't help but think, you know, how many works that we're going to look at today, you know, for static works. I mean, dynamic, it's a little different if things are moving. But for static works, how many of those works could we just feed into the machine and, you know, come out with extraordinary poetic material results? I mean, again, I'm kind of on this pen plotter business here. It's, again, I'm just kind of like, and even look at this. The color, I wish I could control this better. This is what I want to highlight here. See how the green background, like you wonder, was that also painted by a machine? And even if it wasn't, you know, this is classic, like, okay, we'll just put some green on top. Maybe it pooled a little bit over here, so it's slightly darker. And that just creates its own poetry. Again, these kind of little, the randomness of the physical, shall we say. Like, that is ultimately, I think I've kind of distilled it here, the point that I'm trying to make here, 9 minutes in here. The randomness of the physical has been infused into the digital here. And that, to me, takes the poetry that we are making digitally here, and then you can just kind of hypercharge it, supercharge it with the randomness of physical materiality, the accidental things that happen when you're working in the physical world. A natural contrast, we could argue, between the digital and the physical, the digitally perfect and the physical accidental. We are back in philosophy, my friends. So anyways, here is, and they're going for high prices. Look at this, recently sold. I've already spent a long time on this so far. But I want to look at that one too. So I would encourage you, actually, dear viewer, take a look at this, because this art matter business, I hope is coming for all of us, and I think we should be the first in line to be trying to get in line and, use this and get on this, even if it's just using basic pen plotters. Anyways, thank you very much to the collectors who picked up Neuralink. So that is based on a Elon Musk article who's trying to link brains directly to machines. This was for Chi Moscow Jackson's show. He runs Hologram Gallery here. And just a big thank you to the collectors who picked up this work. It means a lot. And yeah, it's interesting. As far as this is, even though this is in the collaboration series, this is basically, I call this series Stories, and then within Stories I have the secret history of World War III. But when it doesn't have to do with geopolitics and whatever else, finance, if it's just, but maybe it fits into the secret history of World War III. Anyways, all to say, I was using photographs of physical brushwork up until, and then I stopped doing that because I felt like I hit a certain wall, like of experimentation, and I was like, okay, how do I push this further? I was doing physical paint, taking a picture, putting it into work. Those are the first 6. But what was interesting is now that I'm using Midjourney now, and I'm starting to get these kind of painterly things, and I'm loving that. So anyway, so the experimentation continues. I continue to push with this series. I made another one today. I'm really excited, or started another one, I should say. So anyways, thank you everybody for picking that up, and thanks to Chi Moscow Jackson for the invite of this group show here. And here you can see Coda Nakazono, Crush, Purple Drank. That work was also part of it. Another Crush. And so anyways, so this show is starting to come up here. That is Hologram Gallery on Object. So check that out. Again, big thank you to everybody involved. Just a couple of comments here. Some really nice comments. I agree with you and Rosatio from Human Boy Vibes. The musings and ponderings and deep dive learning sessions are a wonderful addition to knowing the why of what is going on. I have ended up learning a lot, and the artist's toolbox is never full. Great episode. Thank you, Human Boy. And yeah, it's kind of like, that's how this kind of show started a lot. And, this show is always kind of a work in progress. Again, it's the pirate ship that's being built in the sky. I was going to say quite literally, but not quite literally, but all to say it's kind of an ongoing work in progress. So, that's always kind of been the idea, is there's always kind of, if we need to, as I did way back when with, say, Rat Cloaksy, we started off with some Rimbode, it's always good to just kind of always feed ourselves with the tradition and everything. Again, I just think it gives, beyond feeding our brains and giving us inspiring ideas, most importantly, I think it just builds credibility too in what we're doing, and reminds us of, the bigger picture out there, the bigger tradition that we're a part of, whether we realize it or not. And it's always better to realize what we're a part of. And also, thank you to Retro Manny. The two-pack piece, Baziah's Crucifixion, was referencing the now infamous artwork from the Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, his final album before he died. I feel like I should know that, but just don't have a ton of knowledge. So thank you for the context there. Great show. Thank you. And awesome. I'm glad to hear you're expanding your horizons, Stolka. And shout out to DJ Kiro and Hercules. Awesome to hear from you, that great artist who does the computers. Anyways, a lot of great comments there. And also from RJ Online, love the direction this show is going at the moment. Great to see some cultural theory and philosophy being given substantial space, especially at this moment when so many artists here are so heavily embedded in so many new frontiers. I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, whenever it comes up, you don't want to be pretentious about it where I'm doing it but I think when the opportunity comes up, it's then we go in that direction and we explore it a bit. And I do plan to come back to, Baudrillard and simulation in all these things. I'm sort of right now, I don't think we'll have anything on it today unless I surprise myself while I'm doing this. But now we can let it sink in a little bit. right? And then maybe in 2 weeks we come back, and then we come back with a little bit more of a foundation, and then we start to build again. Who knows where we are in 6 months, should we all still be here? And I don't see why, at least I shouldn't. So anyways, thank you for the encouraging comments from RJ, a great artist. Lorna Mills, I can confirm that you got my process pretty much right. Thank you. So we were talking about Lorna Mills, and we have a couple of Lorna Mills actually in this show. Again, using the marquee tool and the selection tool. So that is confirmed from another great artist in this scene. And here's another one, Uxine, great conversation. And this was actually referring to a work that I was saying that maybe Uxine a couple of shows ago, maybe he used AI. He didn't use AI. Here it is. By the way, that GIF has no AI treatment. I use AI in IRL job only. Cheers. So that is cool. So the GIF that we're looking at, no AI. So kind of big correction on that one, because I thought maybe there was some AI involved there. Speaking of AI, I thought this was kind of topical for us. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Google will label fake images created with its AI. So Google is coming out very strong with AI. So I think they're partnering with Adobe with, I believe it's called Firefly, the AI that's coming out of Adobe. So Google will, I'm just going to read a couple of points here. Google will embed information called a markup inside images created by its AI models. So basically there's going to be some markup in the code that will warn people it was originally created by a computer. And here's the quote, image self-labeled as AI generated, reads one example warning provided by Google. You'd think they'd just put AI generated, but image self-labeled as AI generated, that almost sounds like it was made by AI. The move is the most significant effort by a big technology company to label and classify output from so-called generative AI. So it's just kind of interesting to see this kind of how this is getting rolled out, in terms of the society at large. Speaking also of AI, guess who was in Vogue Italia? So strange thing. Again, a testament to this space and to the power of harnessing new technology and running with it, like Strange Thing has done. We have witnessed, we've seen with Uxine too, going from, selling well on object to going like making tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars, right? And just like having a professional, making more money than a lot of professional, quote unquote, professional artists in the contemporary art world who are actually like not doing bad, So, and not that money is the only measure here, but it is a measure of success. It is a measure. And here, Vogue Italia, Strange Thing was in Vogue Business, which was impressive before, but this is a whole other order of magnitude. This isn't Vogue Business. This is Vogue Italia. And they did a whole profile. When artificial intelligence imagined sportswear in the Renaissance, the interview with Strange Thing. So that is pretty rad, to quote Hasdrubal Waffle. And they even collaborated here on a Birth of Venus variation. So how cool is that? The artwork of Strange Thing made exclusively for Vogue Italia. So check out Strange Thing's massive Instagram. I think I saw that go from 2,000, maybe less, to 66,000 followers. So, Strange Thing is just really doing well here. So you gotta love it. And here's some, I should practice my Italian and read this in Italian. So anyways, excited to share that I've been interviewed by Vogue Italia and collaborated with them to offer my unique interpretation of Botticelli's masterpiece, The Birth of Venus. Grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Julia at Vogue. So this is awesome. And I don't see this stopping. And here's the piece. Look at that. We could have started with this too, This is awesome. So anyways, it's just really great to see and just super duper cool. You just gotta love it. And look at that, Vogue times Strange Thing. So an awesome collaboration here. Let's just give this a retweet here. So that is just rad. And I had to add this in. I don't know if I've ever met Mark Fernyhough. I don't think so, but he's a friend, a very close friend of a couple of friends of mine. I think we are friends on Instagram, like a very close friend of a few, I may have even met him, but I don't think I have, but I've heard a lot about him over. Anyways, guess who's in Vogue Italia? Is Mark Fernyhough. And so he has some project that he was doing, my Berlin Contemporary Dancer project featured on Vogue, and I just had to share this. That's hilarious. So I don't know if it's the same issue, but it's great when your friends are ending up in Vogue Italia or very close friends of friends, etc. So anyways, big congrats to Mark Fernyhough. That is awesome. So just on the AI front, Mr. Shapeless with a little bit of R&D, research and development. Recently, I started to think about new ways to prompt and discovered this tool. It's reverse prompting tool that allows you to quote unquote unprompt any image and translate it to native Stable Diffusion Midjourney language model. I will share some examples below. Let me know what you think. And here's the link, and I actually brought it up here. So here it is. So you drop the image here, and here's the prompt. And so anyways, this looks like it's well worth experimenting with. I mean, we were talking about the reverse prompting before. I've used it just on, what do they call it? Describe on Midjourney. And I didn't find it very helpful. You know, I'd put in, say, a Rauschenberg, or I'd put in a Picasso, and then I'd say /describe, and then get the prompt, and then put that back into Midjourney, the text, and it didn't really look like the text that was coming out. So I wonder if this is just a better version of that. Artwork Magnum, Tuesday Motivation, and here, okay, so source image number 1, and then outputs number 2 to 4. So maybe it uses this to get the text, I'm guessing, and then this is what you end up with. Interesting. Look at that. I mean, that almost reminds me of Google Deep Dream from 2015. I mean, this is quite an image here. I mean, this looks like a very advanced movie poster, or even like Star Wars, right? The Star Wars movie poster, where it's kind of got the whole movie is almost kind of in one image to a certain degree. Another interesting, with some great textures there. So fairly poetic here down here with this pink kind of small, guy at a stampede, riding a bull or a horse or something. Pretty interesting. So here's another one. So anyways, I've been doing well at keeping the show short, so so there you go. So that is just something, huggingface.co. And so anyways, you can see, I'm going to retweet that. So if you want to find it, just go to my feed or Mr. Shapeless's feed. I have just retweeted that. Dan Control with just an interesting comment. The difference between my works on ETH and those on Tez is that taken individually, the ETH pieces have their own value and power, while those in Tezos, I see them more as a journey, like a diary, precisely as a collection, and therefore all together. An example, still life and all animals. So this is interesting, right? Because I think, it's something I've mentioned here many times, that usually, as an artist, when you see a different blockchain, it almost inspires a different kind of work. Like if I was to work on Solana, I'd kind of want something fairly polished, or I don't know, but it would it has its own feel. And then Tezos, that's where I feel, say, working with a pixel art sketchbook, as I call it, on Tezos, it makes perfect sense for me, but I don't know if that would make a ton of sense on Ethereum. Weird as that might sound, right? Because they're sketches, it's having fun, it's experimenting, it's testing things. So anyways, it's another way of putting it is, we used to say, or I used to say here, you put your big oil painting masterpiece on ETH, and then maybe you put your more experimental stuff, or just trying things out, other kinds of series, on objects. So both, working multi-chain has tons of advantages here. And so Dan Control, just interesting comment I want to share. And this is regarding the ETH and gas fees. JRNY Crypto, who's kind of a big NFT guy and kind of YouTuber especially from 2021, we need a solution to ETH gas fees before the next bull run. Gas fees alone price out most of the world on crypto and NFTs. We can't have true mass adoption when a single digital transaction costs more than a full tank of real gas. And I just want to highlight this because I think, JR is absolutely right. That's again, I don't hear anybody else saying this, but again, I'll never forget that interview with Gavin, who actually, I believe, put the programming language together for Ethereum, who's now behind DOT. At the end of an interview, he was saying, we want it where you can't even tell you're using crypto. It's just kind of like web application type stuff, and where you can have it where there are no fees. So that's why I'm still continue to kind of have my eye on DOT, any NFT platform over there, because I don't know any other blockchain, and I'm sure people out there are way more knowledgeable than I am on this, but I don't know any other blockchain that has that in the roadmap. Just zero fees. Maybe it was Internet Computer, but I don't know enough about it. I think I heard that they also might not have fees, but this seems like a bit of an issue. And I love Ethereum and all these things, and I have most of my, big grand oil paintings are on, quote unquote, are on ETH. So, I love this stuff. I love ETH and all this stuff, but all to say though, I think JR, and I think JR does as well, but I think he brings up a really just kind of a crucial point. I thought we just got an upgrade 8 months ago, and now we're kind of back to these high gas fees. So how do you scale? I guess they say layer 2, and so we'll see how that all plays out. But I think no gas fees is probably where this all ends up, because whoever cracks that code is going to win, I would argue, or is going to have that's just a different kind of product. Anyway, this is more of an art journal than a blockchain journal, but I thought it was worth mentioning. You can probably guess who this is, Demon Ego. And I just wanted to show you how Demon Ego was working physically here. This is kind of a really cool technique. I mean, it reminds me of those Warhol silk screens from I think the late 70s, Mick Jagger, where he would cut out colored paper and then just put it, just glue it almost randomly and then screen print over top. Again, that whole technique of doing random underneath and then putting something structured over top, and that creating that natural contrast. That's why it looks so beautiful, because it's such a hard contrast. Well, I see a variation or an echo, shall we say, of that, where it looks like Demon Ego is just kind of cutting out some similar shaped things. And let's say, okay, we'll call them an ear, but we'll just cut out a few and then we'll just start putting them on and then draw on top. I think this is just really cool and beautiful and interesting. So I just wanted to show that GM from Demon Ego. Just really cool. I mean, kind of a window into Demon Ego's process too, which is quite sophisticated. Speaking of sophisticated, Kristen Roos, new weaving in progress. So I never get tired of seeing new shots of these beautiful, again, back to traveling through the mediums, back to, taking, as we started this show here, taking a digital work and putting it into the physical world. And here we have the accidental of physical reality, and so it just becomes, and you almost have, how these things kind of color cycle. I think if we were to see this work on a computer, it'd probably be moving. Almost this weaving here in the way that there's kind of like this black thread that goes across. It almost creates that echo of kind of movement and whatnot. So anyway, it's just beautiful to see. New weaving in progress. And this was interesting too. I thought it was interesting in its simplicity, as far as I understand this. Some new dot matrix prints on the way. So I thought this was quite brilliant, because you see what this is? This is an old printer. So I think that's just super, really interesting. Not only using old software, but using old printers. And there's something kind of brilliant about this, because of course an old printer, as you can see, the ink is starting to run out. The accidental, aspects of working in physical materials. So we would used to think of this as super lo-fi, So a brilliant innovation. I don't know if Kristen Roos is the first to do this. I assume other people have done this before, but I've never even thought of that or seen it, but I kind of love it. And I mean, it must be hard to manage this old printer technology. Anyways, I got to run faster here. So Remy Fort, glad I finally tried white ink on black paper with the pen plotter. So interesting, white ink on black paper. AxiDraw is really addictive. I can't stop drawing. Well, I can imagine. So here we go. Let's just open this in a new tab. So again, I mean, I'm kind of back to this pen plotter business. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? So I have to get one of these things. And look, she has it on Etsy for sale, 200 ionosphere, 200. So just very cool, right? Like, I mean, very cool. And here is some more work by Remy Fort. Pointillism, and just to give you some background on what she's doing here, this artwork was generated by a Python script I designed and made in my studio in Lyon, France in 2023. And what I love about it is this kind of randomness here. So it kind of has the feeling of a human accident or just this accidental stuff going on here. So pretty interesting, made with code and then pen plotted. I mean, this is all, to me, this is incredibly exciting and super sophisticated. So I am incredibly excited by this whole situation. And here is Remy Fort's object. So all sorts of stuff going on here. So I assume it's other, that's really cool. So I assume this is other code. And it sounds like she just started using the pen plotter. So anyway, pretty awesome. So on to images here. So this is, you could probably guess who this is, Tokyo Love, sold for an ETH 50, so about $3,000 to Jeezy just a few days ago, May 8th, and this was listed on May 4th. I don't think we saw it. Great vibe. You can see Xcopy here. There you go. See the Xcopy collab? So really, really cool. The music is awesome too. You gotta love the vibe. I mean, it's kind of back to there's generally a bit of, the NFT space for me feels a little bit more, kind of more youthful and optimistic relative to the contemporary art world to a certain degree. There's just kind of a fun playfulness. Anyways, really beautiful colors, great work. Akihabara, Tokyo 2023, music by Memoryx Memories. So really cool. Osbren, Royal Flush. Look at this, 100 of 100, price is 74 Tezos. So of course we remember the video camera and other retro technology, the Silk Road work. And so anyways, some cards, really cool animation here in their totally unique style. And let's just see what happened here. If it's, yeah, sold for only 15 actually. And it looks like Broke 0x must have bought like half of them. Anyway, very cool. Royal Flush from Osborne. And you can probably guess who this is as well. This is Goyoung Arts. So I'm not sure I've seen this work before. So them doing coffee. And so anyway, just cool. We have a map. And of course, you see the pixelation in the background and a static work here. And just a really nice treatment of the cat there and everything. There's some turtles. Beautiful style here. So really cool work from Goyoung Arts. And here's Guru Hyena. An edition of 1. Let's just see what this sold for only $8.88. I mean, this looks like really cool web art, doesn't it? And here's like a Firefox reference, Etherscan, gas fees, Tezos. You know, just a portrait of the culture, really. Gas too high, right? 420, LFG. So anyways, just a tribute to the culture here. Very cool works. Sold for a song. So I Malaise High owe too much gas fees on ETH. Here is Tezos clean NFTs. So a bit of a homage to Tezos. So here is Lorna Mills. And again, another nature work. I just saw this on her Twitter. Gotta love the color and everything. Nice kind of happy-go-lucky concept, you know? So it's almost like, feels like someone's spinning around in a forest or, you know. Yeah, so anyways, just a beautiful work. And here's another one, not so happy-go-lucky, Unlicensed Suit. So interesting title of what looks like a volcano. So again, this kind of nature series, very cool. It's just a beautiful, super interesting take on nature. And you gotta love the matte black. It's not like, you can see the difference in the blacks here. This is a very light black, or matte black is what I'd be tempted to call it, like an uxine type of black here, right? Interesting to use that with this, you know, cloud suit that kind of covers things. So anyways, edition of 32 for 15. There are 24 left. Really cool work by Capin with Explainer Gallery, Promised Land, Beyond the Peaks of Price Swings. So here we can see a chart of probably, you know, financial markets, probably crypto chart here, and then mirrored by the mountain landscape here. So just really nice work by Capin, who has been doing a ton of really nice work and kind of working with this gradients that kind of flow through the work here, color gradients. A hilarious work by Hasdrubal Waffle, 1900 Get Wolf, Dirty Talk Live with Wolf Blitzer, $1.79 a minute, XXX adults only. Hot, hot, hot. Anything goes, Wolf, waiting, call now, 1900 Get Wolf. The Real Situation Room. So an edition of 3, pretty hilarious, by Hasdrubal Waffle. Really nice treatment. I like the old phone here. That is really great. And everything. So anyways, I love it. What did this sell for? Accept offers of 8, 18. Yeah, so anyway, really cool work. Haiti Rocket, Don't Panic. Interesting work here. Kind of meme kind of style or whatever Haiti does here. Don't panic, just kind of a cool work. I think Haiti is working, this is another one, I think with Deluxe Paint, because you see Amiga 1200. I almost wonder if it's dpaint.org. I need to figure out how to use the gradients here, these kind of cycling gradients here. I'd be very late to the party. I really like actually this kind of tension though, with say the red squares, kind of checkerboard at the top, which is static, with all this moving, you know, gradients here, cycling gradients. There's something kind of really interesting about that. So anyways, cool experimentation, cool abstract from Haiti Rocket. And here's another one. How much was that? It's only 37. I mean, not bad actually. This one's, I guess the Kurt Hustle Collective priced that one. Let me just look. Yes, Kurt Hustle at 1997. Anyways, here's another one, Black and White. So again, you recognize this software from, I think Kristen Roos uses it, definitely Sabato, who's awesome Milk and Cookies we're going to look at in a second here. And so we saw it also just the other day. I think it was Human Kernel, I think Santiago, dpaint. So anyways, very just interesting experimentation there. And here is Milk and Cookies, Chrome Period Drawings, and maybe we already looked at this, didn't we? I sometimes get confused on this. So this is Deluxe Paint 4 on an emulated Amiga 1200 computer. I think we already looked at this. Sometimes I get confused when we have a couple of days off. Anyways, we can look at it again if we haven't looked at it. I think we did because I was wondering what kind of cookies those were, and they are biscuit sandwich cookies over here. So anyways, continuing on, the side hustle. This is Pixel Nachos made with also retro software. And so this is GraphX2. And so just more experimentation from kind of mixing abstract with a little bit of representational here, just some stairs going into a portal or into a castle of sorts. So interesting experiment here, edition of 6, 4 left at 5 Tezos, side hustle. And this came out on Object One, so they have come out after a pretty significant hiatus, a couple of months at least, or a month at least. They have put out some new work, beautiful work here by, I believe this is Pixel Fool. Let's just double check. But anyways, just kind of a fun, again, we're kind of back to that fun of the NFT space, almost that optimism. Output 0 or output O, Pixel Fool. Yes. So 180 frames, 256 colors, fairly large. And do we have any bids on it? Let me see if we can figure that out. Info? Okay. Let's just go to their homepage here. So this is on the homepage somewhere. Explore artworks. So this is, here we go. And then there's another one here. I think that's by Coldy, but yeah, anyway. So I don't see a history here, so I don't think any bids yet. So they are continuing to do stuff on Object 1. Spogelsmaskinen, The Closet is the series, and the work is called Case. And here you see kind of it's another one of these red and black works, and here, watch the flashing here, I'll keep it brief, with the skeleton in a briefcase, which is kind of interesting subject, sold for 1.1 ETH. So Spogelsmaskinen is doing excellent, and here's a work by Horomox, kind of a cool, in that it's kind of, I like the roughness, let's put it this way, and I think there's the Eiffel Tower is being combined with a building, just kind of interesting work from Horomox, Eiffel Tower and the Tower of Hope, edition of 1 for 50 Tezos here. Interesting kind of question marks in the background and everything. And continuing on, we have Manidal, Quiet Moment, for half a sol, and there are 17 left. So still lots of these left, with the cat figure looking at a mermaid, and and a wanted poster on the wall. Just cool pixel art from Manidal with beautiful colors as usual. Interesting concept. I wonder if this must be a submarine. You can see like the UI over there. Running through this Ex Mortal, I actually, last dance here, it sounds like someone was listening to Men Without Hats. We can dance if we want to, we can leave this world behind. If you know Men Without Hats, I call them Canada's Kraftwerk. That is my take on, I love Men Without Hats. I think they were actually, Canada did not celebrate Men Without Hats as they should, even still. One of the great bands to come out of Canada, Ivan, there from Men Without Hats. So anyways, a work that's celebrating Men Without Hats, I had to celebrate here. Cool work, Ex Mortal, edition of 15, and it looks like sold out. So someone out there likes Men Without Hats at 5 Tezos each, and sold out pretty quickly too, so that's awesome. Work by Ellie Lowe. Scary work by Ellie Lowe. So another tarot card. So very cool. Kind of a glitchy tarot, kind of trash art sort of thing. Available for $4.50. One left from Ellie Lowe. Board Me Social Club, 3 Wise Men. And so I like this work. I think my favorite part of the work was the Aldi logo here. 3 Wise Men. So, vaguely I'd say a reference to, the birth of the nativity, the birth of Jesus, but maybe this is also like, I almost feel like this is some hip hop album that I might not know of, another reference I might not know, because it kind of feels that way. Look at that leg sticking out, kind of a horror sort of feeling to this one. It looks like a hand maybe missing there. Board Me Social Club. Rosacho with a really cool different kind of work, light background, and kind of like a wild bug here with the eyes. And I like this over here too, with the sun setting seemingly, or a moon setting or sun setting, a couple of eyes, and then this nice kind of border here. Very nice to look at. Metamorphosis. So maybe a Kafka reference, because it looks like a bug, and maybe this person is a bug, and things are getting darker, right? So maybe that's waking up from an unsettling dream. Buy now for 20 Tezos. That's on secondary, sold out on primary for 10. Continuing on, Kappa Sage, The New Age. Cool work. I really like this work. I like the title. I like the strange composition. This is really interesting work here. Like, again, if I saw this as an oil painting in a contemporary art gallery or acrylic, pick your medium. I'd go, this is pretty modern. This is, I've never seen a composition like this before. And here we have some cool shoes and everything. Even the hat and everything, the background, textured background. I like this a lot. The youth of the new era, the new artists, the poor, the new rich. Like, there's just a lot going on in this work. There's a lot going for this work. Still available on primary for $340. So pretty reasonable price there. And here's Supepe by The Myth, 2023 edition of 20. And so it looks like the Mike Tyson figure mixed with Pepe. And so anyways, interesting take on the clouds. Interesting take on the clouds there. So let's just see what happened here. Sold out for 10 Tezos on primary. And so there you go. Yeah, Rat Cloaksy, Isolationist, Morlacos. I mean, Myth brings everybody out. Rorich, Waylu, Flexosaurus, Bazaya, Bursector, Hasdrubal Waffle, Mikey Wilson. I completely missed this one. I saw it on Twitter after the fact. So anyways, now you have to pay 45 Tezos if you want that one. And here's an artist I don't think we've seen before. The Taste, An Artist Must Die, the final piece to sacrifice the crucifixion. I thought just an interesting composition here. Again, kind of a horror work. I looked at their page, and I'll show it to you in a second, and here's a phone with some blood and kind of a Murakami flower there, and some kind of really nice camouflage, like a very interesting visual work here. Again, interesting concept and title. Edition of 10 for 3 Tezos. 7 left, so lots left. I was wondering to myself, this kind of has a Board Me Social Club feel to it. I'm wondering, is this the same artist my inner sleuth is asking? If not, just their own thing, and that's great. Give them a follow. Cool work. And of course, Gabriel Tesarev with another kind of cool digital painting here, Chiffon Sando. And this came out on May 1st, so I missed this one. So anyway, I'm a huge fan of this artist and all these works here. And let's see if you can still get it on primary. It's 3 Tezos, 15. None have sold. Is that right? None have sold. I might have to pick one of these up. A great artist here. Look at how great that bowl is and everything. I'm going to pick one of these up. Sometimes it's worth picking up those works that nobody buys, because once in a while the artists will just burn the rest of them to thank that person. So that's happened to me before, a few times actually. Quilanina. Yeah, so don't let no sales throw you off as a collector. Social proof is an illusion, my friends. Quilanina with Procreate here. A work in Procreate, so often works physically with acrylic, does these great, what I'd consider kind of visionary or mystical paintings out of Argentina and Peru, if I remember right. And so she's been doing some full-on digital works in Procreate. Here's another one. Interesting use of Procreate. Hey, look at these great clouds. Look at this, Northern Lights sky almost. Anyway, just really, really interesting artist here. Procreate 2023, Midnight Dream. Kind of feels like an Henri Rousseau reference, doesn't it? Here is Axstone. And I'm a big fan of these kind of works too. Gloomtube has a work where it's just kind of it's almost like a sticker collection. There are other artists who have done this too. I like this whole trope of kind of just putting a bunch of illustrations, because you can find Basquiat has used this as well, just drawings across and little kind of doodles all across to create a composition. So it's a cool way of making a work. So cool work from Axstone on Twitter there. And here Daniel W., who's going to be on our next Twitter Spaces that is scheduled if everything goes according to plan. So here are some cool works by Daniel W. that have just come out. Very excited about that. Really cool artist. So this is called Rot, and this is an edition of 15 for 5 Tezos. And here you see Rebirth with what looks like mushrooms coming out here. And let's just hit play. So pretty nice animation here. It's pretty interesting. You could just use different stages of the drawing being finished, where you haven't filled in all the blacks to when it is all filled in. And then you turn that into a GIF. It's a nice animation. Continuing on, Mr. Shapeless, Face of the Future. Another really cool face from Mr. Shapeless here. It feels like it's going somewhere, Mr. Shapeless. very interesting, cool, nice composition. So I like the star here. So just really cool use of AI here. Went for 50 Tezos. Pretty reasonable for a 1 of 1 from Mr. Shapeless. Sold in 25 minutes. Very cool. Here's Venta with another one, Social Contagion. And this is going for 8 Tezos, edition of 10. And kind of a surrealist looking work here. Kind of feels very 3D modeled and everything, kind of plasticine-esque. Really cool clouds in the background there. I love it. I just love it. Just all these kind of body parts flowing into each other. Social Contagion. Venta times AI. 7 left at 8 Tezos each. And back to Strange Thing, check out this collection in the Arctic Circle, AI faux fur fashion concepts for those still in colder climates. So this is pretty rad. Hey, I mean, very powerful images from Strange Thing. And you know what I also like? Like Strange Thing didn't just stick, he could have stuck with just the oil painting textures, but here he's going on like full on photography. So again, not getting too comfortable. Always, but still almost recognizably Strange Thing at the same time. And I mean, just great concepts here. So very cool use of AI here by Strange Thing. Very cool. Beautiful background color there too, the orange. The color is outstanding. You wonder look at how harmonized the color is in these. This is very cool. Very nice work. That looks like a G.I. Joe, like Cobra Commander or something with like a fur coat. This is CGI, I think. See, that says CGI. Computer Landscape 02, Enter the Portal. So this is by Kramer. So just kind of interesting work that I had never seen this artist before. I'd heard of Kramer, but I don't remember work like this anyway. So here's one work, Computer Landscape 2. Here's Computer Landscape 3. I think also CGI, kind of a surrealist kind of landscape, for lack of a better term, and Computer Landscape 03. And here, so this is Random Girl 4K, and so I think it's the same account, because you can see here's the screen print. And there is your screen, right? So you put your base on, and then you put your print over top, the black and white clear print, and then you put it in the machine with the light, and then you spray it and all that, and then you end up with your screen print. So anyways, love to see that. Computer Landscapes meets screen printing. So that is Random Girl 4K, is also Kramer, as far as I understand. Ollie Izakowski with also some cool physical works here. Some nice textures here. This is quite nice, beautiful. I love like all the stuff going on here. Ollie, beautiful yellow stripe here. This is also going somewhere, so very cool work from Ollie Izakowski. And look at Rada. GM, we're here to stay. I think Rada made this watercolor, and this is quite beautiful too. So anyways, I mean, just the range. There's a lot to be excited about here, isn't there? And here's Steven Schwarzer. Big fan of his. You've seen his work here on this show before. Just another kind of nice, beautiful physical work here to share. So that is Mit der Sonne verschwinden. I wonder what verschwinden is. Shall we look quickly? I should know this. Disappear with the sun. So disappear. Verschwinden. Mit der Sonne verschwinden. Okay, so anyways, that is your show, everyone. Thank you for joining me again. Until next time, take care.